Keir Starmer's handling of the Chagos Islands dispute is nothing short of an embarrassment, a catastrophic miscalculation in both principle and practice that will echo throughout British politics for years to come. The disgraceful surrender, as many have aptly called it, is a betrayal, not just of British interests but of common decency. Starmer's appeasement of Mauritius is not only reckless, it actively undermines Britain's national security and credibility on the global stage. It is a political debacle that should haunt Labour for as long as it persists. The Chagos Islands, specifically Diego Garcia, where a key U.S. military base resides, are a strategic asset that has long served the West's geopolitical interests. Yet, in a deal brokered by Starmer's Labour Party, Britain is relinquishing sovereignty over this vital territory to Mauritius, a move that puts everything from regional security to global stability at risk. In exchange, the UK is agreeing to a £90 million annual payment for 99 years. This would be a dangerous and absurd concession in any context, but it's especially appalling when one considers the nature of the party making it. Labour's decision to cede control over the Chagos Islands is a political and moral blunder of the highest order. Despite the supposed legal justification rooted in the International Court of Justice's 2019 ruling, this deal reeks of desperation and a willingness to sell out British interests to placate foreign demands. The idea that this is somehow in Britain's best interest, as Starmer and his team insist, is not only delusional but an outright insult to the intelligence of anyone who understands the strategic importance of the region. More troubling still is the underlying political calculus driving this capitulation. Mauritius, emboldened by Starmer's perceived weakness, is already looking to extract even more concessions. Reports indicate that Prime Minister Naveen Ramgoolam is under domestic pressure to demand more money from the UK and to push for the removal of the US military presence from Diego Garcia. Starmer's deal may have been sold as a diplomatic victory, but it is quickly turning into a humiliating concession after concession. Labour is being taken for a ride, and the consequences will be borne by the UK, not Mauritius. Criticism has come thick and fast, not just from political opponents like Tory peer Lord Daniel Hannan but from military and security experts, including former Royal Marine James Glancy. The accusations are harsh but undeniably accurate. This is a sellout, plain and simple. Glancy's assessment, calling the deal a treacherous betrayal, might be blunt, but it is also justified. Starmer's Labour Party is gambling with Britain's long-term security and positioning the nation as a spineless player on the world stage. Let's be clear about what's happening here. Starmer's decision to proceed with the Chagos handover reflects a broader pattern of appeasement and weakness in his leadership. At a time when Britain needs to assert itself and reinforce its global standing, Starmer is conceding to foreign powers, regardless of the consequences. The idea that Labour could be so cavalier with such a critical issue, handing away sovereignty for a mere financial payoff, is an indication of just how far the party has fallen under Starmer's stewardship. Moreover, the UK government's silence on the costs involved in the negotiations is equally troubling. It is absurd that Starmer, as the leading figure in these negotiations, has failed to provide transparency about the true financial costs of the deal. The Foreign Office's refusal to disclose these details only serves to reinforce the perception that this whole affair is being handled with all the transparency of a shadowy backroom deal. It is inconceivable that taxpayers' money, potentially upwards of £9 billion over the course of 99 years, will be spent without even a basic accounting of how it is being allocated. This secrecy undermines public trust and raises serious questions about the legitimacy of the deal itself. Yet, despite the growing backlash, Starmer remains unrepentant, claiming that the agreement includes robust security provisions designed to protect Britain's interests. But let's not be naive. The inclusion of a buffer zone around Diego Garcia, which would supposedly prevent construction without UK consent, is nothing but a token gesture. What's the point of erecting such a buffer if Britain no longer holds the reins of control? How can Starmer claim to be protecting national security when he is essentially handing over the keys to a region that plays a pivotal role in the West's defense strategy? This deal isn't just a foreign policy failure, it's a stain on Britain's integrity. When a country like Mauritius starts to view the UK as a weak, easily manipulated player, the long-term consequences could be catastrophic. Starmer's Labour Party is playing a dangerous game, and it is the people of Britain who will ultimately pay the price for this reckless capitulation. For Starmer to continue pretending this deal is anything other than a colossal mistake is not just disingenuous, it's downright dangerous. If Labour truly cares about Britain's future, it must abandon this disastrous Chagos surrender and chart a course that prioritises national security, transparency, and above all, integrity. The stakes are far too high for Labour to continue down this treacherous path. It's time for Labour to wake up to the reality of what they've done and reverse course before it's too late.